am back with another card with Brass and Bliss. I love the way that this came out. They have a new release coming up in February, and this card we are going to be using the Hello die with the shadow and the Floral Bouquet die. When I seen this Floral Bouquet die, I was like, oh, I need that first of all. Love flowers, right? And then once I got it, I was like, oh, it does the outline plus like the paper piercing parts on the inside. So I went to go cut this apart and all of the insides, and I love these type of flowers too. They're very springy, Hawaiian, just all the good stuff, right? So I took the whole die and put it down, cut that out, and you see how it has the outline plus the inside, and I'm like, what if I make a full background out of this? I feel like putting the two big parts together, that like it kind of is in a corner. As you can see, I keep on doing it in the corner. I can probably put it together on a card. So we went to town. Here we go. And you are seeing me go through the process. I did not make this card ahead of time. Excuse me. I did not cut this all out ahead of time and make sure it fits. So you are actually seeing the process of me putting this all together. All right, so we did all of that. I thought I was going to bring in the new dash nested oval dies. I didn't. You'll see that in another one, I think paired with this flower. I think I have an idea for that. So once I started going, I was like, okay, I need to get all the, it's going to be so many pieces, as you can see. It's a lot of pieces, right? I was like, you can put them all down on a sticky mat. That's one way to do it, and color them all. But for me, I was just like, yeah, that's still going to take a lot of time. So as I imagined, they do kind of go right in together. I did have to clip off a few pieces, as you can see, so that they can meld together. So I'm putting in this all together. Now, I do need you to remember that I am going to put the hello straight over the middle of this. So this, though I'm worried about it, I'm not super worried about what the direct middle of this card is going to look like. It is going to get covered. I did put this on a light dusty pink cardstock. So I felt like that was going to make the colors pop. I am using quite a contrasting purple, pink, blue color. Loving it. I have been on Pinterest saving all of the color combinations lately, just because I feel like I kind of hit a rut in my like color combo picking, I guess I should say. So yeah, you can do it that way. I know that there is like the color cubes out there also, but honestly, Pinterest has all of the color combinations out there. So I usually just go to Pinterest. Call me old, probably. I don't know. I don't even know if people use Pinterest anymore, but I do. All right, putting the Barely Art glue down. You do want this to go down, and you want to make sure that it is glued pretty well down so that you don't have any of the little pieces, poking up, like that little piece right there. And then I'm just gonna fill in all of the other spots with the single flowers, those ones right there, so that I can fill up the rest of this card. And honestly, it came out exactly how I had it in my head. I had to do a little bit of adjusting as I was going through, and I also did just go through and recut this out of white paper. When I color it, you're going to see, because I went to go color all of the pieces, and I was just like, yo, this is I'm not gonna lie, I mean, the card did take me a minute. I think the end result was completely worth it. This would be a card that you would send to one of your crafty friends. I feel like there's cards that you send to your crafty friends, and then cards you send to everybody else, mainly because you know that your crafty friends will appreciate the time and effort that you put into your cards. I did that done with my Christmas cards. Like if I spent a lot of time coloring them or doing something like this, paper piercing them together, or paper piecing them together, they were going to my crafty friends, right? The ones that, you know, were easy, but, you know, we still handmade them. That would go to my family members that would, you know, they still loved them and put them up on their wall, but I don't think they really truly appreciate the time and energy that went into them. All right. So, making sure that all of our things are down, and then we are going to switch over to the coloring portion of all of this. But as you can see, I am going around and just making sure all of those little pieces got some glue, especially right there on the edge. Also, I am going to cut this down a little bit because we are going to mat this on more paper, so I am going to cut those edges off. So don't worry too much. And this is where I think I was like, ooh, this is a lot of pieces. All right, so I die cut everything out and kept it right on my mat so that I could just color them, because trying to stick all those pieces down, also finding all of the pieces, yeah, it was just gonna be a little bit too much work that I wasn't interested in. So I decided to go with this pretty bright pink color. I do dull it down a little bit with a little bit darker of a color. But love the way that this pops, and I chose the biggest flower, obviously, so that this would pop big time. I will show you the colors of this one. I do think I forget. I gotta get better at that, at showing you my lids. I am using Ohulu markers, the Honolulu bee set. I love these markers and pretty much have almost all of them. I think all of them are like 20-ish. But I am loving these markers. I think I've seen RV100, and then like I said, I will tell you, and I'm just blending these pretty much. And then R10 is the other one. So I went down with R10, then made, usually I will just do the inside of flowers to give them a little bit of contrast, and then I went back over that with the R10. And there you go, there are my colors right there. So, all right, next moving on to this more yellow mustard color. Hopefully I can get the color of the pen for you. I think it's Y340, somewhere in there. And that will be my base color, my lightest color. And then I will go in with more of an orangey color for the center. Well, I tried to show you my lid and it's off center. It's off the thing. Darn nabbit. I did just keep it on my Magic Mag. This is not normally where I would color, but the pieces were starting to fall out, so I just left it right there. And this one is YR34. Like I said, it was just a more mustardy color, and then you'll see I will go right back over that. It looks like Y340. All right, so we got that one done. The next color is this like dark teal. I love this color. I've been loving this color. Hopefully I show because as you can see right here, like the pieces were starting to move already. So I was like, yeah, we're not moving it anywhere. I want these pieces to stay where they're at. And I was already struggling with a few of them. Now again, I'm not using the outline to this die cut, so I'm just going right over top of it. It just makes it so much easier to color, and then I'll be able to keep it right there and just put those pieces right into the next. Unfortunately, again, it looks like I have just perfectly placed my markers right off of my screen. So sorry about that. I will definitely work on that. I always forget to show my caps. So that one looked like it's a BG. I can't remember, guys, unfortunately. And as I'm coloring, it is off. So that stinks. Sorry about that. I will get better at doing the lids for you guys. Oh, BG6 was one of them. I seen it. All right, now we're gonna put that off to the side. and we're gonna bring our card back over. And what you want to do is just go in and put a little bit of glue in all of the spots. Not a ton of glue, just a little bit, because we don't want it to seep out the edges, but enough to where it is going to, you know, make sure that each of these pieces are down. And I'm simply just going to paper piece this all together. It is simple as that. Yes, it is time consuming a little bit, but I love the results I get from it. And like I said, I think that this card just turned out so pretty, and I think it's a great way to use this die as a full background instead of just using it as like your focal point. I mean, it is still definitely your focal point, but it is a different way to use it as your focal point. All right, so like I mentioned before, I cut down the sides of that back panel, and I am gonna put it on this navy. I think the navy made the pinks just pop so much, and I love the color choice. Again, like I said, mentioning that I took a color combination from Pinterest probably helped this decision so much, and it allowed, oh, I'm gonna cut it down right now actually, and allowed me to not think about colors as much. I think that sometimes not worrying about how the colors are going to go together helps so much in letting yourself just be creative instead of constantly worrying about color choices. All right, so I am using my Tim Holtz guillotine trimmer. Love this thing. It's super sharp. As you can see, went through those layers just perfectly. And I am cutting this down about a 1/4 inch on each side, I believe. I would have went probably a smidgen less, but I think it actually looked great. And like I said, it just made that pink, the light pink of the cardstock and then the bright pink of the flowers just pop so much against that background. All right, now we are going to work on our sentiment, the hello. I love making cards that just say hello. There are so many times that I need to just have a card that I can send to a friend real quick that might be having a hard day or a hard week, or just maybe I need to have a card that I need to send, a check or something along that lines with, and these are the perfect cards for that. Just a simple hello card is always something great to have in your stash. I like the just a note cards, something that doesn't, necessarily have to have a meaning, but is there and gorgeous. So having these hello dies in my stash is definitely an essential for me. I did cut that out of that navy card stack 3 times. So this is a pretty delicate die also. As you can see, it's very, very slim, I guess you should say, very thin. So I am going to use some vellum. So I'm going to cut my shadow out of vellum, and vellum just allows you to not cover up your background. We just worked extremely hard on that background, but also pop that sentiment and make that sentiment pop off of your card pretty much. So we are going to glue all 3 of those down. Then I just used a very small amount of Barely Arts glue on that vellum. Obviously vellum and liquid glue don't always tend to fare well with each other, but because I used such little amount, it worked pretty well. All right. Always using my acrylic blocks to make sure I get even pressure over the whole thing and allow that to dry. And then we're going to put everything together. No dimension here. I think that the dimension of just the background is perfect enough. So we're going to put that down, and then again, more acrylic blocks, but also because that has a lot of dimension, I just wanted to make sure that I got even pressure. And then do you see how well that the hello pops off of there compared to if I was just to put it down? Also, it does give me a little bit more space, obviously, because there's not much for that sentiment to grab onto on this card, since everything is it's not popped up and essentially like on, foam tape, but it is popped up with just thick cardstock because I use 110-pound cardstock. All right, again, my acrylic block. If you don't have an acrylic block, get you one. Actually, a lot of people have been using magnets. My glass board is not magnetic, so I don't have those. Let's get our card base ready. We are just using a regular A2 size card base here, and then I have been trying to remember this year to stamp the inside of my cards before putting my card base onto them. So we are going to use the Best Wishes stamp set from Brass and Bliss, and I think I just put like Best Wishes or You Are the Best. You Are the Best. That's right. I couldn't remember exactly which one. Again, I wanted it to just keep this super simple so that I could use this card for just about anything and get this down. All right, I'm sorry about what is going on with my footage right here. I have no idea. I sped it up to like 200, but then it was actually slow motion, and I don't know what is going on. This is supposed to be sped up to 300, and so I don't know. I have no idea what is going on. So I cut most of this at the end. Obviously, it's just putting a card base on, or the card on the card base, and then showing you everything at the end. Thank you all so much for being here. I hope you're loving seeing all of these new cards. I promised myself I would get new or more content on my YouTube channel this year. So far, I'm doing pretty well. We'll see if I can keep up with this, but loving playing with all of the new Brass and Bliss. Please go follow them, and all of the links will be in the description if you are interested in any of these products. See you soon.